technology and that lets you save.
Who cares?
True Form Life.
Green look on.
Welcome to another edition of Exploring Mind and Body. I'm your host, True Form's Drew Taddia, fitness expert. In this week's edition, we're talking all about Chinese medicine. All that and so much more coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body with True Form's Drew Taddia, fitness expert on 96.5 CKFM.
So I started running not that long ago, and I'm really starting to enjoy it. I don't run for very long. Usually 20 to 30 minutes is good for me. I can't see myself as a real long-distance runner, but from time to time, I do enjoy myself running. I don't claim to be a runner. I never have. I was a sprinter, meaning I run pretty quick for short distances, but that's all I was interested in. I'm sure the reason I used to dislike running so much was because it started off as a punishment early on in athletics. If you were late, you ran. If you made a mistake, you ran. Coach was upset, you can bet there was running involved. So naturally, how could I enjoy running with such a negative connotation involved? I'd imagine it would have a whole different story if we ran when we did something good. That's a real laugh, or if you ever been punished with running. I remember the first season when I went down to play in California. There was a real heat wave going through, like the summers weren't hot enough as it was. Water wasn't always an option, as unhealthy as it was. We had an old school coach that said to us, the first few months I played here, I didn't even know there was a water fountain. You see what happens with some of the leagues if they don't put a cap or if there's too many people involved in spring training? They try to weed out those that may not really want to be there. Sometimes the organization doesn't always want to make the decision, or they don't want to be the bad guy, cutting a huge list of people. What they look to do is break you, almost literally, with the drills and heat we were put through. They lined us up on the track after a few hours of practice in the heat and told us to start running. This sounds crazy, but in all seriousness, the coach said, if you need to throw up, then get back on the track. I remember this like it was yesterday, thinking he was half kidding. When no smirk crossed his face and no laughter or chuckle came from the crowd, I knew he was serious. Not quite as serious as when I actually saw it, but all the same, he spoke the truth. With these memories instilled deep in my memory, running was never something I look forward to, much different than today. I love it when the sun is shining when I wake up. I feel like I'm instantly put in a good mood, so much so I have to do something. When it was winter and too cold outside, I usually walk to my office or to the breakfast table. What I do when I see sun shining now is throw on my shorts, my running shoes, and head to the door to start my day out right. Running right in the morning is a great feeling. It's almost like the day hasn't started yet, but you've already have accomplished something. It takes some of us hours to wake up, get the blood flowing, and actually get something done. I know exactly what this feels like, especially in the cold winter months. I love the heat, and I love the summer, so I've decided to make a choice. My choice is to not let one day slip by without being active, without waking up with excitement on a sunny day. I'm going to take full advantage of every day in the next few months that I can, to get my blood flowing early in the morning, to get something accomplished, and to feel better about myself. I hope you can find some inspiration this summer too. In one of the previous shows, I talked about a book I was reading on Chinese medicine. The whole idea is centered around prevention and healing with foods, right up my alley. So I decided to visit our local Chinatown to see what they had. It was quite a different experience. I was a little nervous walking into a foreign place where I didn't know what the reaction would be. Your mind kind of wanders around the unknown and the expectations. I don't know where it came from, but I half thought someone would be standing at the door telling me I wasn't welcome. To my surprise, that didn't happen at all. Although I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. It didn't seem like anyone cared that I was in there. An elderly lady knocked some food over when walking by a display. It was clear she was having a hard time bending over, so I picked up what she dropped. She smiled, muttered a thank you, again to my surprise, and we both carried on with our shopping. Another man passed me and excused himself. Again, I don't know where my expectations came from, but they were clearly wrong. In fact, the only people that I saw look at me funny was an Asian woman and the only other Caucasian man in there who spoke perfect English. So I guess I did get the look of, what are you doing here? But it certainly didn't come from where I was expecting. I want to learn Chinese medicine for my own personal reasons. I love the history of it, that it's been around for so long. I like the fact that they also believe in foods heal, and I enjoy the whole idea of it in general. I figured if I wanted to experiment with the foods I found in this Chinese medicine book, the best place to go was Chinatown. So that's exactly what I did. I walked up and down each aisle trying to find something I'd recognize from the book, since I didn't actually bring it. I looked for every English word I could find. It was hard to come by on some packages. Other things I knew what they were from the look and the smell, and other things I had absolutely no idea what they were. And at times, was glad I didn't. I didn't exactly recognize anything I read about, although I didn't want to leave empty-handed. I knew flowers have healing properties, so I found a package that said dried lily flowers. At the time, I had no idea what they were, but with research when I got home, I found a few interesting things. The two main benefits that stand out to me is cleansing of the liver and soothing your throat from a cough. I thought this was fantastic news. We all go through times when we cough for a long time. We're well over a cold, but that cough still lingers. Perfect solution. And once in a while, most of us overindulge in a few drinks. And if not, it's always good to clean out the liver once in a while. Another perfect solution. There's a couple of different ways you can prepare dried lily flowers. One way is to let them soak in hot water and serve in tea, as I did with some honey. You can also stir fry them, again, which I did, and I even threw them in smoothies. Beautiful health properties without much waste. The other package I found was dried black fungus. Most of us know fungus or mushrooms have healing properties. So again, I picked up this bag of dried fungus, not exactly knowing the benefits, but you can bet I was going to find out. On ChineseFoodHealth.com, I found some incredible health benefits for this interesting looking food. A staple in the Chinese diet, this can be substituted as meat. It actually contains a small amount of fiber and protein, and is also the highest amount of iron in any vegetable. Black fungus contains a number of nutrients, including fiber, phosphorus, iron, and calcium, according to Joseph Hu, who holds a PhD in pharmaceutical sciences and chemistry and is author of Healthy Longevity Techniques. Through further laboratory studies, other benefits include anti-tumor, antioxidant, antiviral, and hypoglycemic effects, reports Peter Chung, professor of food and nutritional science at Chinese University of Hong Kong. These articles were found at livestrong.com. As you can see, these dried little mushrooms have incredible healing and preventative qualities. I'm not sure who wouldn't be interested. I should note, if you are interested, you're going to have to get past the look and possibly the texture. Only a small handful of these little guys soaked in water almost made the bowl overflow. So you don't need much, and they aren't expensive to begin with. They are a little slimy though, and certainly don't look appetizing. Personally, I don't have to worry about this because I mainly eat for nutritional value. But I understand there's a large number of people out there that need to have all the stars align, meaning looks and taste, before they're willing to consume it, which is absolutely outrageous if you ask me. Crazy how backwards things can get. The majority of people have no problem slamming down a Big Mac in minutes, or a bowl of cold cereal soaked in refined sugar, knowing full well this is detrimental to our health, knowing obesity, high blood pressure, and our quality of life as a whole is at risk. But go ahead and toss a slimy little nutrient-packed mushroom in front of someone, and I bet a good number of people would turn away. Although the mushrooms don't look all that appetizing, they virtually have no taste. I chopped these guys up, threw them in a delicious stir-fry with only vegetables, quinoa, and natural wholesome flavors, and I couldn't have been happier. I always feel better after I eat a meal I know my body appreciates. This is only the beginning of my Chinese medicine / healing properties research experiment adventure. I'm very happy my first experience was a success. I'm excited to experience with these foods and watch my health continue to improve in many ways, and more so that I'm able to share my knowledge and research with family, friends, and my listeners out there.
Exploring mind and body with True Form's Drew Taddia would not be possible without the help from the following sponsors: Lens Chiropractic, AG Foods in Didsbury, CLC Fitness Center, Health Street in the Cornerstone Shopping Center Olds, and Shoppers Drug Mart, working together to help build a healthier tomorrow. For more information on True Form Life, Drew Taddia, or how to become a sponsor of Exploring Mind and Body, visit TrueFormLife.com.
While I was wandering around this Chinese grocery store, I found some dried oranges in a package for sale. This slightly piqued my interest. A peel that I usually throw away for sale. Maybe it's true. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Everyone I know, myself included, either throws the peel in the trash or compost. I haven't heard of using it another way. So I did some research, and it turns out orange peels have a lot to offer. Maybe in this case, what's on the inside isn't as important as what's on the outside. Probably the very first thing that should be noted if you're going to eat orange peels is buy organic. We don't need to consume any more toxins than we already are from packaged foods. Don't add pesticides and herbicides to your diet if you don't have to. Buying organic will also prevent you from eating that waxy surface found on regular oranges. Either way, I recommend you buy a scratchy cloth and be sure to add some elbow grease when you're cleaning these peels. Many times we don't know who's handling our food or where it comes from. My one man's trash comment is directly related to this fact from whfoods.com. More health-promoting phytonutrients are found in the peel and inner white pulp of the orange than in its liquid orange center. The white pulpy portion has been shown to lower high blood pressure, as well as cholesterol in animal studies, and to have strong anti-inflammatory properties. A few other things stood out from my research that weren't all that believable, like orange peels can heal a hangover and bad breath. For hangovers, you boil water, then add salt and orange peels. And for bad breath, they recommend you chew on an orange peel. I couldn't say for sure if either would work, but I wouldn't have a problem trying either of these suggestions. Stumbling upon packaged orange peels was a good thing. It was a great learning experience and gave me a few ideas to experiment with. As I sit here sipping orange honey tea, I more appreciate this newfound treat. All I did was vigorously scrub an orange before I peeled it, ripped it into chunks, and placed them on a dehydrator. Before long, I had an easily stored new flavor for tea, and I can't wait to try out my new idea of adding ginger and dried orange peels to my next stir fry.
True Form Life.
I can't stress enough how beneficial a garden can be in the summer. The food and the nutrients alone from eating homegrown foods offer more than any store-bought food could come close to. We put energy into our food that we plant and grow ourselves. We put in effort, we put in hope, we put in love and goodness. The energy we put into our foods translates to the energy our bodies consume. Prepackaged foods that come on trucks or boat and from who knows where certainly don't have the same feeling your own food does. Transported foods don't smell the same. They don't look the same. Certainly don't taste the same. Gardens offer peace. They offer patience, life lessons you won't find anywhere else. We sow our seeds and watch them grow. Many other things in life, maybe investments, children, for those parents, learning that not every seed grows the same and not every seed turns out the same. The nurture and care, time and effort it takes to grow foods you'll directly consume is something special. This is your sweat put in. It's your excitement when you can't wait to taste your first homegrown tomato from your greenhouse or tasting your first summer bite of your own grown salad straight from your garden. It's beautiful, and it should be. Those that have never grown a garden, or those that never put into their food what they get out of it, have no idea what I'm talking about. A year ago, I certainly didn't. I bought my food just like most people do nowadays. But last summer, I helped plant and take care of my first garden, other than my grandmother's, which I'll get to in a second. It's been a great gift to me to be able to learn everything a garden has to offer besides just food. I'm grateful that a friend has opened me up to helping out. I certainly received much more than I put in during the process of gardening. Some of my favorite memories are helping my grandmother out in the garden. I remember picking peas and beans. I remember the tiny strawberry patch next to the water barrel and not being able to wait for the raspberries to bloom. I remember helping Grandma peel onions and dig potatoes. I remember coming home from school and finding Grandma hard at work in a place she loved, the garden. Most importantly, I remember how good the food tasted that she prepared that came right from her backyard. Carrots and potatoes, of course, a staple in the North American diet. Fresh peas and beans, cooked or eaten right off the stem. I even remember one time I planted a watermelon seed, which I'm still waiting for to grow. Gardens have so much to offer. They save money, they teach lessons, they leave lasting memories from childhood. If you don't have the time or space for a garden, I suggest you share one. What you get back in return, guaranteed, will be more than you put in.
True Form Life.
That's all we have for you this evening. As always, I'm your host, True Form's Drew Taddia. Be sure to tune in next week. We're working on a special guest. And also for the next couple weeks, we'll be changing times. Stay tuned for those. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with True Form's Drew Taddia, fitness expert. For more on True Form's Drew Taddia, visit trueformlife.com or call 403-510-4915. True Form's programming would not be possible without the support of GDK Gravel, serving Mountain View County. Call them today at 1-877-335-2091.